Plans for a directly elected mayor for the West Midlands have been confirmed as part of a £1 billion devolution deal for the region. Chancellor George Osborne was in Coventry earlier today to seal a deal with the West Midlands Combined Authority, which represents councils from around the region. The Treasury says the government will provide £1 billion worth of investment. So what will that exactly deliver? Here's our political editor, Patrick Burns.
Not just any Devo deal, Devo Max brings the top level of devolved political and spending powers over transport, housing, skills and business development. In Coventry's Institute for Advanced Manufacturing, 7 metropolitan leaders signed up with not one but 2 senior cabinet ministers.
What we're agreeing today is devolving power, not taking power from local authorities and putting it in the hands of a combined authority and a mayor, but actually taking power from London.
But with Devo Max comes that elected mayor, even though the idea was abandoned in Stoke and repeatedly rejected in Coventry and Birmingham. This time it's different, says the business secretary.
If you're going to have this kind of power, then you do need to have someone who is directly elected, that is responsible, that people can hold accountable.
But it'll take more than an executive mayor to make up for years of cuts to local services.
We've got to start somewhere, and we're now part of a combined authority club, where devolution is the name of the game.
It's taken almost exactly a year for the council leaders to negotiate what they see as a groundbreaking agreement. There is a sense here today of just a little bit of history being made. The biggest Devo deal of its kind in the country, we're told, bridging the political divide, town and country potentially, and business and politics. But this is where the hard work begins, the start of a 30-year project. And with business leaders signing up as well, that mayoral contest could produce surprises.
Would you have a elected mayor yourself?
Sorry, me? As they would say, you're having a bit of a laugh.
Not exactly a no, was it? Patrick Burns, BBC Midlands Today, Coventry.
And Patrick is here right now. It's just quite interesting, this, isn't it? Because what was it, about 3 years ago, residents of Birmingham voted against a directly elected mayor, about 58%, I think. So where does this leave democracy?
Well, it's a betrayal of democracy, according to Bill Etheridge, the UKIP MEP. But the government says it's a very different kind of political animal we're talking about here, compared with those that have been rejected repeatedly in the past, responsible for a wider range of things, including potentially police and fire in future, and of course a bigger area than just one local authority. OK, so who will get the chance to vote for this mayor? Everyone who is registered to vote in those 7 big metropolitan council areas, and we're talking about Birmingham and Black Country, Solihull, Coventry. And beyond that, there are places like Redditch, Nuneaton and Bedworth, Tamworth, Cannock and Telford, which have an associate membership, a looser form of membership, which significantly does not bind them into the ambit of the elected mayor.
And as an ace tipster, who are the early front runners?
Well, I mean, if you look at business leaders, Digby Jones always gets a mention, maybe Andy Street, the chairman of the Birmingham and Solihull Enterprise Partnership. Among the politicians there, perhaps, Darren Cooper, the Labour leader of Sandwell, Bob Slay, the Conservative leader of Solihull. And then there are people like Sean Simon, the Labour MEP, who tried for mayor of Birmingham in the past. Maybe Andrew Mitchell, the Conservative MP for Sutton Coldfield, who recently intervened in the great debate about the future size and shape of Birmingham. But as you say, Nick, that's a very long way to go yet.
Patrick, thanks. Well, today's devolution deal will unlock cash for transport projects in the region at a time when our motorway system is consistently clogged up and rail services prone to delays. So will the elected mayor be able to drive forward a road and rail transformation, or is the West Midlands destined to stay stuck in the slow lane? Our transport correspondent, Peter Plisner, has been investigating.
Although some have already been questioning how much of the money talked about today is actually new, one thing is clear. The lion's share of the cash looks likely to be spent on transport, a whopping £5 billion over the next 10 years, enough to kickstart a whole range of much-needed infrastructure projects. First off the blocks, further expansion of the Midland Metro, already being extended into Birmingham city centre under the devolution deal. There's funding for new lines to Brierley Hill in the Black Country and out to the airport and the proposed HS2 station. And talking of HS2, the agreement paves the way for 20 schemes across the region designed to make access to high-speed rail much easier.
This means that everybody within the West Midlands will be less than 40 minutes away from an HS2 station, and that will really allow us to utilise the benefits that HS2 brings, and really important because HS2 will free up our traditional transport modes, and our connectivity packages will mean that we take advantage of that.
But one of the biggest changes will happen on the railways. Today's deal gives the new combined authority more control over local public transport, and that should mean being able to specify exactly when and where trains run.
Well, I hope it'll give far more attention to what the passenger wants rather than necessarily about how the trains operate, which is one of my great criticisms about the way things run at the moment. I think it's a great shame that the train services are provided by train operating companies when they're really there to provide a service to passengers.
The authority will also have control over buses and ticketing, and there'll be more influence over the strategic road network. But there was no mention today of drastic plans to make the M6 toll-free. Councillors admit that's not easy to deliver.
There are going to be further discussions around how we best use the road network. Clearly, the M6 toll is going to be part of that discussion. I don't think that it's going to be an easy discussion.
So a big day for West Midlands transport, with many schemes previously stuck in the sidings now suddenly heading onto the main line.
A church which encouraged the parents of a